What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. And today's video is brought to you by our sponsors, BetUS. So, we have a lot to talk about. Man, especially as the Commanders. That's right, the Commanders. They just got a name about a week ago, right? But they are going to the NFC Championship game. We'll see who they're going to face off, but it feels like it's going to be two NFC East foes in the NFC Champion. It just makes me feel sick to my stomach just thinking about it, right? So a lot was transpiring last night online on social media. I mean, Cowboys Twitter was on fire. Typically it is on fire, right? But last night it was on fire, man. You have my guy Des Bryant and Micah having a conversation. Now, I will say this, right? Sometimes when you're having Twitter interactions, everyone wants to be robber. They want fight to the death on some gladiator type stuff, right? But Des and Micah was trying to have a conversation. I was like, listen, y'all, we're never going to get anywhere if y'all just talk in public, especially on Twitter. So why don't you either talk on the podcast or talk in private? Now, I talked to both in private, right? And both have very good standpoints. And the thing that I love the most about talking to both players is they just want to win just like we do. If I can say one thing about Micah Parsons and also Des Bryant, they want to win. They hate losing, right? And I understand where Micah was coming from, but I also understand where Des is coming from as well. There just needs to kind of be a balance, right? But what we are trying to prevent is from Micah Parsons turning into Des Bryant. And what do I mean by that? We're sitting back seeing Micah old and, well, Des ain't old and bald, you know what I'm saying? But we don't want to see old Micah saying, damn, he never got the opportunity to play for a Super Bowl, just like Jason Witten, just like Sean Lee, just like, Tyron Smith, just like Travis Frederick, probably just like Zach Martin. It's like, so Jason, list goes on and on of Dallas Cowboys, Des Bryant, so many Dallas Cowboys legends that didn't even get the opportunity to be close to compete for a Super Bowl. We are trying to prevent Micah Parsons from becoming one of those casualties. So it's always a conversation, right? But sometimes on Twitter, y'all know how it can be, right? But I feel like what we saw last night, Dan Quinn was able to take a few Dallas Cowboys guys, go over to Washington, and have instant success. I mean, even Jordan Lewis commented on it. Like, I know Dan Quinn did not just go over there. Yes, he did. Jaden Daniels played outstanding, beat the Detroit Lions. I know them Detroit Lions fans are hurt. They paid $800 for them tickets. Woo. I know they are hurt, right? So I think Cowboys fans are frustrated and saying, why not us? We now have the longest stint of not going to an NFC championship game, the entire NFC. That is crazy, right? There is no team that has not been to an NFC championship game longer than the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'll say this, the NFC championship game is just the Final Four, but still, goddamn, for a team that prides themselves on being America's team, just getting to the Final Four in 30 years. I mean, you got to get to step one before you can get to the ultimate level of the Super Bowl. I mean, hell, Pat Mahomes has been there the last 7 years. So, it's just some of those frustrations. But also when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and this coaching hire, I feel like Cowboys fans, self-included, have a lot of uncertainty, and that uncertainty is because we don't believe in our front office to make the correct decision, right? They interviews Robert Saleh, they interview Kellen Moore, I think they have Leslie Frazier tomorrow, right? But who are some other candidates? Does a Coach Prime thing happen? I highly doubt it, right? So the list of candidates, a lot of Cowboys fans are kind of feeling meh on, right? Kind of feeling meh. Now, Ben Johnson last night, I've been trying to warn y'all about Ben Johnson on this channel. I've been trying to warn y'all about Ben Johnson on Twitter and social media and Instagram, wherever you can follow me at JTalk151. All them cute loop-de-loops. All them loop-de-loops. All that stuff looks cool when it's being executed. But in the thick of things, in a playoff game, you don't have a wide receiver pat. All them loop-de-loops is cute. Until they're not executed, right? And we saw that last night all unfold. I know Lions fans are like, bro, why would you call the triple reverse loop-de-loop in that moment, right? And threw an interception and changed the course of the game, right? So, all that stuff, but Aaron Glenn on the defensive side of the ball, right, didn't look good. Now, I will say this. People are like, oh, you can't hire Aaron Glenn after that defensive performance in the playoffs. Well, Dan Quinn did a lot worse. And you see how he's shaking. You see how Dan Quinn is shaking out, right? So I don't want to say, oh, Aaron Glenn had a bad playoff performance and he's cooked. We don't want to hire him. The Cowboys were to interview him. I still think he's a leader of men. I think he's someone that can kind of help shift some of these players. But there is a lot that needs to be done, y'all. There is a lot that needs to be done and fixed when it comes to this franchise. Think about it. We have over 20 plus free agents that needs to be signed, and we'll start there. They're free. That means they can go anywhere that they choose, right? And now you have Dan Quinn, is looking appealing over there in Washington. It's looking appealing. So you might pick up the phone and be like, yo, Dorns, dog, what's going on over there in Washington? Yeah, bro, you need to come over here with us, right? So who knows if Mike McCarthy gets a job in Chicago and he might want to take some of his guys over there with him. So there's going to be a lot of changes. And I think that is what's making Cowboys fans uneasy, is that when it comes to these changes, there's a lot of question marks, right? And I think the big conversation piece that we also saw last night is, of course, right? Anytime there's a football game, it's Dak, right? But I will say this. If you want Dak to put on these superhero performances like Pat Mahomes did yesterday and like Jaden Daniels did, we might have to talk as a family. But I don't want superhero Dak. I think that's what a lot of people are wanting in Dallas at the quarterback position, the superhero. But those players come a dime a dozen. Think how many first-round draft picks the Browns have used trying to find that superhero. Look at Chicago, right? Trying to find, so many teams are trying to find that superhero. It's very far in between, right? So I'll say this, but when it comes to the Cowboys coaching hire, I want someone specifically that's going to change the culture. I've been saying this in our morning shows and our walk-in talks, right? I want a guy that's Jimmy and Joe's over X and O's. We can come up with the scheme. We can find an offensive coordinator that got some loop-de-loops, right? But I want a guy that is a leader of men. And I don't think he'll mind if I share this. Like I said, I talked to Michael last night. I talked to a few other players as well, right? The players understand it. Right? They feel like it's on them to step up. The players have to be better. I 1,000% agree with what the players were saying, that they have to go out there. It is on them. But also, the front office really doesn't put them in the best winning situations. In their mind, they might think that's the case, right? But their front office doesn't help much. And what I kind of mentioned was this. I was like, listen, fellas, let's say the Cowboys are a contender, right? A championship contender next year. Everyone feels like the Cowboys have turned the corner with this new head coach, whoever it might be, right? And they are just one player away. They're one wide receiver away for really putting them on top. I can't trust his front office to go out there and get it. Now, granted, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, Kevontae Turpin, whoever those other wide receivers, Brandon Cooks, right, whoever it might be, right, should believe that we don't need to get another receiver. I am him. I am that guy, right? That's competitive spirit. But, what if we were just one wide receiver to put us over the top, right? And we're all saying we need a wide receiver. We cannot trust this front office to go out there and get that wide receiver. We've proven that time after time after time. Go back to last year. We was all saying, we need a linebacker. They didn't even go get one, right? So then we get ran all over by Green Bay. And everyone's like, well, Dan Quinn doesn't like linebackers because we didn't go get one. You know what I'm saying? The year prior, right? Go get OBJ. Go get a wide receiver. They gave us T.Y. Hilton, right? So we cannot depend on the front office. So yes, I agree with the players I spoke with last night. The players need to be better, and they also need to be better in big moments. But our front office and the culture needs to be better as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers on a Sunday, that the Dallas Cowboys would go out there and get a coach that can truly embody that. Will that happen? I don't know, y'all. If I had to gauge it, it's smelling very killing. It's smelling killing. It's smelling killing. It's smelling killing to me. right? But hopefully that is not the case. Like I said, no knock to Kellen Moore. I just don't think he's the guy to get the Cowboys ultimately to where we're trying to be, man. So it's your boy J Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you do not miss out. We got draft content coming up, more film sessions. This week we're transitioning over to wide receiver. We got some live shows. We even got some live guests. So you definitely do not want to miss out. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. And the Commanders or the Eagles, red pill or blue pill? How about we just cancel the season? How about that? Peace. This video is brought to you by BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino. And right now, BetUS is offering an exclusive deal. So go over to BetUS, use the code YouTube150, and they are offering 150% up to $2,000 bonus deposit on your first deposit and 125% on your next two. So if you want to win money this NFL season and use free money, you cannot beat free money. Go over to BetUS, use the code YouTube150, and let's get this money game.